Marinda was raised in a life devoid of challenge, but when her mother died of an aneurysm at age of 40, 10 years old, Marinda came up with the principles when you are lying on your deathbed. One of the cool things to say is I really explore myself. This sense of urgency was still when my mom died. If you only go through life doing stuff that easy, shame on you. So when wrestling presented a challenge, she was ready to take it on. Her efforts paid off at 24. Marinda was having the last laugh. She won the spot for her weight group on the US Olympic team and came home from the Athens with a bronze medal. And what was next? Yale Law School pupil urged her to stay where she was already on top, but Mirinda felt it was more exciting to start at the bottom again and see what she could grow into this time. Stretching beyond the possible. Sometimes people with the growth mindset stretch themselves so far that they do the impossible. In 1995, Christopher Reeve, the actor, was thrown from a horse. His neck was broken. His spinal cord was severe from his brain, and he was completely paralyzed below the neck. Medical sense said, "So sorry, come to terms with it." Reeve, however, started a demanding exercise program that involved moving all parts of a paralyzed body with the help of electrical stimulation. Why wouldn't he learn to move again? Why couldn't his brain once again give command that his body would obey? Doctors warned that he was in denial and was setting himself for the disappointment. They had seen this before and it was a bad sign for this adjustment. But really, what else was Reeve doing with his time? Was there a better project? 5 years later, Reeve started to regain movement. First, it happens in his hands, then his arms, then legs, and then torso. He was far from curve, but brain scans showed that his brain was once more sending signals to his body that the body was responding to. Not only did Reeve stretch his abilities, he changed the entire way science thinks about the nervous systems and its potential for recovery. In doing so, he opened a whole new vista for research and a whole new avenue of hope for people with spinal cord injuries. Thriving on the sure thing. Clearly, people with the growth mindset thrives when they are stretching themselves. When do people a fixed mindset is strive when things are safely within their grasp. If things get too challenging, when they are not feeling smart or talented, they lose interest. I watch it happens as we follow pre-med students through their first semesters of chemistry. For many students, this is what their life have led up to become a doctor, and this is the course that decide who gets to be one. It's one hack of a hard course too. The average grade on each exam is C plus for a student who really seen anything less than A. Most students start out pretty interested in chemistry, yet over the semester something happened. A student with the fixed mindset stayed interested only when they did well right away. Those who found it difficult showed a big drop in their interest and enjoyment. If it wasn't a testimony to their intelligence, they couldn't enjoy it. The harder it gets, reported one student, the more I have to force myself to read the book. And student for the test, I was excited about chemistry before her. Now, every time I think about it, I get a bad feeling in my stomach. In contrast, students with the growth mindset continue to show the same high level of interest even when they found the work was very challenging. It's a lot more difficult for me than I thought it could be, but it's what I want to do, so that only makes me more determined. When they tell me I can't, it really gets me going. Challenge and interest went hand in hand. We saw the same thing in younger student. We gave fifth garter intriguing puzzles which they all love, but when we made them harder, children with the fixed mindset showed a big plunge in enjoyment. They also changed their minds about taking some home to practice. It's okay. You can keep them. I already have them. Forbid one child. In fact, they couldn't run from them fast enough. This was just as true for children who were the best puzzle solvers. Having puzzle talent did not prevent the decline. Children with the growth mindset, on the other hand, couldn't tear themselves away from the hard problem. These were their favorites, and these were the ones they wanted to take home. Could you write down the name of these puzzles? One child asks, so my mom can buy me some more when these ones run out. Not long ago, I was interested to read about Marina Semyonova, a great Russian dancer and teacher who devised a novel way of selecting her student. It was a clever test for mindset. As a former student tells it, her student first have to survive a trial period while she watched to see how you react to prize and to correction, those more responsive to the corrections and deemed worthy. In other words, she separates the one who get their thrill from that what's easy, what they've already masters from those who get their trial from what hard. I'll never forget the first time I heard myself say, this is hard, this is fun. That's the moment I knew I was changing mindset. When do you feel smart? When you are flawless and when you are learning, the plot is about to thinking for in the fixed mindset. Not enough just to succeed. It's not enough just to look smart and talented. You have to be pretty much flawless, and you have to be flawless right away. We ask people ranging from grade schoolers to young adults, when do you feel smart? The difference were striking people with the fixed mindset set. It's when I don't make any mistake, when I finish something fast and it's perfect, when something is easy for me but other people can't do it. It's about being perfect right now, but people with the growth mindset said, when it's really hard and I try really hard and I can do something I couldn't do before, or when I work on something a long time and I start to figure it out. For them, it's not about immediate perfection, is about learning something over time, confronting a challenge and making progress. If you have ability, why should you need learning? Actually, people with the fixed mindset expect ability to show up on its own before any learning takes place. After all, if you have it, you have it, and if you don't, you don't. I see this all the time. Out of all the application from all over the world, my department at Columbia admitted six new graduate students a year. They all had amazing test scores, nearly perfect grades, and rave recommendations from eminent scholars. Moreover, they have been courted by the top grade schools. It took one day for me of them to feel like a complete imposter. Yesterday they were hot shot, today they are failures. Here's what happens. They look at the faculty with our long list of application. Oh my God, I can't do that. They look at the advanced student who are submitting articles for publications and writing grant proposal on my. Oh my God, I can't do that. They know how to take tests and get A's, but they don't know how to do this yet. They forget the yet. Isn't that what school is for? To teach. They are there to learn how to do these things, not because they already know everything. I wonder if this is what happened to Janet Cookie and Stephen Glass. They were both young reporters who skyrocketed to the top on fabricated articles. Janet Cookie won a Pulitzer Prize for her Washington Post article about an 8 years old boy who was a drug addict. The boy did not exist, and she was later stripped for her prize. Strip Stephen Glass was the whiz kid of the New Republic who seems to have stories and sources. Reporters only dreams of the source did not exist and the stories were not true. Did Janet Cook and Stephen Glass needs to be perfect right away? Did they feel that admitting ignorance would discredit them with their colleagues? Did they feel they should already be like the big time reporter before they did the hard work of learning how we were star precocious stars rode a Stephen Glass, and that was what matters. The public understand them as cheats, and cheats they did, but I understand them as talented young people, desperate young people succumb, who succumbed to the pressure of the mixed mindset. There was a saying in the 1960s that went becoming is better than being. The fixed mindset does not allow people the luxury of becoming they have to already be. A test score is forever. Let's take a closer look at why. In the fixed mindset, it's so crucial to be the perfect right away. It's because one test or one evaluation can measure you forever. 20 years ago, at the age of 5, Loretta and her family came to the United States. A few days later, her mother took her to her new school where they promptly gave her a test. The next thing she knew, she was in her kindergarten class, but it was not the Eagles, the elite kindergarten class. As time passed, however, Loretta was transferred to the Eagles and she remained with that group of students until the end of high school, ga- garnering a bundle of academic prize along the way. Yet she never felt she belongs. The first test she was convinced diagnosed her fixed ability and said that she was not a true eagle. Never mind that she had been 5 years old and had just made a radical change to a new country, or that maybe there hadn't been room in the Eagle for a while, or that maybe the school decided she would have an easier transition in a more low key class. There are so many ways to understand what happens and what it means. Unfortunately, she chose the wrong one. She in the world of a fixed mindset, there is no way to become an eagle. If you were a true eagle, you would have aced the test and been hailed as an eagle at once. In Loretta, a rare case, or is this kind of thinking more common than we realize? To find out, we showed fifth graders a closer cardboard box and told them it had a test inside this time. We said measured an important school ability. We told them nothing more. We asked them, Asking about the test first, we wanted to make sure that they accepted our description. So we asked them, how much do you think this has major and important school ability? All of them had taken our word for it. Next, we asked, do you think this test measure how smart you are? And do you think this test measure how smart you'll be when you grow up? The student with the growth mindset had taken our words that test measure an important ability, but they didn't think it measure how smart they were. And they certainly didn't think it would tell them how smart they be when they grew up. In fact, one of them told us, no way, and no test can't do that. But the student with the fixed mindset didn't simply believe the test could measure an important ability. They also believed just as strongly that it could measure how smart they were and how smart they be when they grow up. They grant me has the power of measure their most basic intelligence now forever. They give this test the power of define them. That's why every success is so important. Another look at potential. This lead us back to the idea of potential and to the questions of whether tells or experts can tell us what our potential is, what we are capable of, what our future will be. The fixed mindset say yes, you can simply measure the fixed ability right now and project it into the future. Just give the task or ask the expert. No crystal ball needed. So common is the belief that potential can be known right now, that Joseph Kennedy felt confident in telling Morton Downey Jr. that he would be a failure. What had Downey, later a famous television personality and author, done? Why he had worn and sock, sock and brown shoes to the Star Club, a fancy New York nightclub. Morton Kingsley told him, I don't know anybody I ever met in my life wearing red socks and brown shoe who would succeed. Young man, let me tell you now, you do stand out, but you don't